Hello, everyone. Starting from this video, we will mainly introduce some of the features of this 3D view. In this first video, we will focus on the operations in the 3D view, the buttons and adjustments related to the display properties. First, let's talk about the operations. These operations are quite simple. They are similar to other 3D software. If you hold down the left mouse button and drag the window, you can see that you can change the view angle, quite intuitive. Next, if you hold down the middle mouse button and drag, you will pan the camera. You can see how it moves to a new position. Then, you can zoom in and out by using the mouse wheel. This way, you can see how you can move in or out of the scene. Just like this, you can zoom in and out with the mouse wheel. These are the basic operations of the 3D view. For the mapping window inside the mapping button, the operations are almost the same. But you need to hold down the Alt key. It's similar to how it works in Autodesk Maya. That's about it. Then there's some focus feature and other things, which we'll cover in detail later. We'll skip those for now. So, the basic operations for the 3D view are covered. Now, let's take a look at the row of buttons at the top. We'll introduce them one by one. In this video, we'll only cover part of them. Let's look at the top row with some separators, which divides these buttons into different categories. The first one, the second one, the third one, and the fourth one. The first category is for the mapping window, which we just looked at. The second category is about various display properties related to the viewport. The third category is related to animation exporting. The fourth category is about the camera. The fifth category is related to rendering and animation clipping. In this video, we'll only cover the second category, so let's take a closer look one by one. The first one is the display of the ground grid. This one is very straightforward and simple. Let's pause here. You can see the ground grid. The second one is for the ground surface display when it's enabled. You can see from below, for instance, flying creatures like birds or dragons in 3D space. They can go beneath the ground and remain visible. Then, this button is for fog. If you turn off fog, distant objects won't exhibit the fog effect. This is purely for aesthetic purposes, and this one is for material display. Let's switch to a character with materials. Let's open the ground surface. By the way, we'll turn off the material. You can see that it remains shaded. But you can't see the texture. It will display the untextured material. This button is for flat display. If we enable it, you'll notice that it loses its shading. It becomes flat. Without it, it has shading, and you'll see darker areas like the back of the character. Then, when you enable it, it's displayed flat. And this one is the axis of the ground surface. Let's turn it off and then on. You can see there's an axis on the ground. The blue is the z-axis, and the red is the x-axis. The green one is the y-axis. However, it's different from 3ds Max. In most cases, characters move out from the z-axis. For example, in this animation, the character moves out from the z-axis like this, and next, this button is for bone display. For example, in this action, it's an FBX, and we can display its bones. So, you can see its bones, and sometimes it's useful. The last button is about group display. What does group display mean? It means there's a type of FBX, or Maya opens a file. Let's open it again. It's in the G drive under AC Resource. And under AC Sample, there's a, in this case, we need to use import. There's a test group. You can see there's one type of FBX, that's quite special. It only has groups. It doesn't have bones, but the hierarchy of groups and its animations are normal. These types of FBX files exist in some engines. For these types, you need to do some special handling, otherwise, you won't see anything. So, Animcraft can display these types. First, we open the AC resources in our G drive and the file in AC samples. Then, we drag it into the 3D window. You can see that if we enable joint display, you can inspect this type of FBX structure, consisting of groups as well as its animations. It makes it more convenient to extract its actions or perform other operations. Okay, in the next video, we'll introduce more features related to the 3D viewport. Thank you, everyone.